Hey folks, welcome back. The way you put your trail arm on the golf club wrecks your alignment. I know it's really important when it comes to setting up the grip, but the way that we do it can drastically affect our upper body alignment. I see this mistake happen so often. And if you're a slicer, someone that comes inside then over the top, I have an idea for you that I think that is super simple to do. It doesn't actually change the way you swing the golf club, or it might change the way you swing the golf club based on how you set your trail hand on the golf club and what it does to your alignment. So let's dive into this tip. Let's fix your trail arm to fix your ball flight. So what I mean by that, and what I see happen so often, is a player will come in and they'll set up to a golf shot, and they might come in with their lead arm or with their lead hand on, or they might come in with their right hand. But what I see happen so often is that by the time they're done adjusting, their right arm ends up on top of their left arm, and what happens is that makes our shoulders very open. A common occurrence I see is I have someone that comes in with their left hand and they work on getting themselves set up, and then when they come in, they just simply put their right hand on top. And then as soon as we make that motion, that can open our shoulders. Or we have the player that comes in with their right hand, they set up to their target, and then they put both hands on, but then when they adjust that right hand, that right arm or that right forearm ends up on top. I also see a lot of players that come in with both hands, right? They come in with both hands, and that right shoulder, right arm always ends up on top. The way we grip it has a little bit of effect on what goes on here, but even players that are really underneath with their right hand, right, I can still see them get set up with that right hand on top. So the checkpoints that we're gonna do, next time you get set up to hit a golf shot, the thing I want you to check is by the time you get set up to that golf ball, from my vantage point right now, my right forearm is higher than my left forearm. And usually if your trail forearm is on top or is higher, that means your upper body is going to be lined up out to the left or open. So the way that we're going to change that, especially if you're a player that has a club path that comes over the top, what I see happen is they come in with their right arm on top, and then they make that inside move, and then they come down and they swing exactly along the path of the shoulders that they preset. So if there's one takeaway today, it's let's stop setting up with our shoulders open because of the way we put our right hand on the golf club. So instead of being the player that puts the right hand on last or gets himself set up with their shoulders open and then come over the top, let's change the way we set up our shoulders and our trail arm, and here's what we're going to do it. When you set up to a golf shot, what I want you to do, right now, the exaggeration that I want you to have is take your right hand off the club. And when you grip the golf club, instead of feeling like you're coming on top, I want you to feel like you're gripping it from underneath. So you're coming at it from this direction. And what you notice when I come in from underneath, right now my forearms are pretty neutral. When I come in with that right hand on top, or on the side or a little bit more on top feeling, regardless of the way that we grip it, just the way that I bring that arm on, that can really open up our shoulders. Another way that we can do it is I can walk into this golf shot, and you guys and girls are gonna love the way this one looks. I'm actually just gonna make a circle and then come and grab it from underneath. But the thing that I want you to pay attention to is how much my shoulders shift directions. So I come in, I make this big semicircle, I grab from underneath, and as I make that motion, that actually closes off my shoulders and shifts them out to the right. So if you're a player that struggles coming over the top and our alignment's not very good, let's make a change to the way that we set up. So the checkpoint that I need you to do, or the thing I need you to verify before you make a golf swing, is your trail arm on top, which is going to open up my shoulders, or is it more neutral or more underneath? If it's on top, this is how we're going to change it. I don't care if you come in with your left hand first, your right arm first, whatever it may be, but as you're going through your grip, I want you to grip the club as if I want you to feel like you're coming underneath when you grip that golf club. Because when I feel like I'm coming in from underneath, what that does for me and for so many of my players is it really neutralizes our shoulders. And if you need a very silly example, what we can do is we can set up and we can make a big circle and come in from underneath, but always grabbing it from underneath. If you're on top with your trail hand, that's opening your shoulders, we're gonna stop that. Okay, so for me, the way that I do it in my routine, I grip the golf club away from the golf ball, but I have my left hand on first, and I always feel like my right hand comes on a little bit more underneath as I set my grip, and that gives me the best opportunity to have fairly neutral shoulders, and as a result, fairly neutral forearms as well. So if you're the player that has open alignment, check your trail arm. Is your trail arm on top, yes or no? If it is, let's change that. We can change from the way that we walk in the golf ball. Let's feel like we're gripping, that as we're coming in to grip it, let's grip it with that right hand coming from underneath. And you can also use this example as well of coming in that semicircle motion and then gripping it from underneath. If your shoulders are open, it's set up, check that right forearm or your trail forearm, and let's get that fixed. I hope that it helps you fix your alignment, maybe help you neutralize your golf path or your club path, and help you have better shots. Thanks.